Hi guys, Miss Brown here again for another Feel Good Friday. I'm going to talk to you about the difference between rock problems and Play-Doh problems. And that's just something I'm using to call them, obviously, like problems aren't really Play-Doh. But I want to talk to you about the difference between the two things, and I think you'll be able to apply it to your real life and some of the problems and worries that you have. So there are two kinds of problems. Rock problems, and this is a tiny little rock, but I found it at the beach and I keep it in my coat pocket and I call it a worry stone, a worry rock. It's super smooth and sometimes I kind of fiddle with it. I know some of you do that with different fidgets and things and I kind of turn it around when I'm thinking. So I had this rock handy. So there are rock problems and there are Play-Doh problems. This is my favorite color, by the way, yellow. So I chose to use that today. Play-Doh problems, which you can see you can kind of change. Okay, so I'll start by giving some examples and hopefully you guys will be able to speak aloud wherever you're at and kind of go through this with me. So I'll give an example. So this morning I was riding my bike with my kiddos and it started raining really hard. It was already cold, but I had decided we have a schedule during quarantine and we do have to get outside and do some type of activity that's good for our bodies every day. And I run, and sometimes they don't want to run with me. They'd rather do a bike ride. So we did a family bike ride this morning, and it started raining really hard. And we all got super wet and cold, and we were kind of far from our house in the neighborhood. And so, we were bummed. The kids started kind of complaining, a couple of my daughters, and my clothes were all wet, and we had to turn around, and we weren't able to go on as long of a bike ride as we wanted to. And so, right, we could have been upset about that. We could have gotten angry and been in a bad mood all morning, right? But what I wonder is the rain something that we can change or control? No. So it's a rock problem. There's nothing I can do. It's like pushing on a rock, trying to change something that I have absolutely no control over. I can't change it. So I went ahead and I felt that feeling in my tummy, in my chest where it was tight because I was mad because I expected to do one thing. It started raining and we had to change our plan and we were all a little upset about it. So I felt that anxiety, that feeling in my chest and tummy start to get tight. So I took some deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth, like that nice balloon belly breathing. And I said, okay, guys, well, we're going to go home. Tomorrow's going to be nice. We'll try again. And realized to let that go because we had absolutely no control over that. It was a rock problem. And if I would have sat there and ruined our morning about this, it would have been for no good reason. And it would have stolen our joy from the rest of our day. And we went on to do other fun things during the day. We went on to do an exercise video in our house. We did some coloring. They did some schoolwork. We did some cooking, some baking, made brownies. So we went ahead and turned our day around because we realized that we didn't have any control and we could not change the rock problem. Okay, so I have another scenario. So then later on in the day, we wanted to make brownies. We love goodies and we have time, let's face it, to cook, right? So I realized I didn't have any oil, the type of oil left that I needed for the brownies. So one of my daughters was looking through the pantry and she was really bummed. She's like, oh, we can't make brownies. We don't have the oil. Do you think that's a rock problem or a Play-Doh problem? A Play-Doh problem, look what I can do with Play-Doh. I can change it, can't I? I can make it into like a snake figure. I can make it into like a pretzel. I can turn it back into a ball. So we can sort of fix it. It can change shape just like we can change our problems. We can kind of fix those type of problems. Now, not having oil to make brownies, is that a rock problem or a Play-Doh problem? Go ahead and say it out loud. Okay, you said a Play-Doh problem. Perfect. Because that is something. So I am old enough to drive a car. I have a car. and I have a job, so I have money to go buy oil. So that's something that we did. We went up to the store and I got oil to make the brownies. We came back and made the brownies. So that was something that type of problem I could change and I could fix and I could solve it. Okay. So I have a couple cards here. We'll go through a couple of these. All right. You say out loud if it's a rock or a Play-Doh problem. Forgot to do homework. Rock or Play-Doh problem. And I'm sure this has happened to some of you. We lose track of days during this quarantine, don't we? And sometimes we lose track of Zoom calls and, what's due and things like that. It happened to my daughter today. She forgot. We were out getting oil for the brownies and she completely forgot about her 2:00 Zoom call for one of her classes. Now she's an older student who has multiple different subjects with multiple different Zooms with teachers and things. But still, it's very easy to forget something. We get tied up doing something else, right? So forgot to do homework. Is that a rock or a Play-Doh problem? Okay, I think you guys probably are getting the hang of this. If you said Play-Doh, you're right? Because what can we do? What can we do to fix or solve? Is there something we can do to fix or solve something if we forgot to do our homework? Yeah, we can hurry up and do it. We are in control of that, right? We are in control of getting our homework done. So we can hurry up and do our homework and get it turned in. We can message our teacher and apologize, let them know that it's late. We can learn ways to remember to do our homework. We can create a schedule. We could set our homework out somewhere where we see it. There's lots of different ways that we can solve that problem. Okay, I have another one. You wish your mom and your dad would stop fighting. Rock or Play-Doh problem? You wish your mom and your dad would stop fighting. It makes you sad. It stresses you out. Is that a rock or a Play-Doh problem? Do you have control of them? Good job. Rock problem. Rock problem. We have no control over our mom and our dad. Those are adult problems and those are adult things that they have to figure out, right? They can decide to stop fighting, but that's not something that you can control. It would be like pushing on a rock. We can't do anything about it, right? And so we can keep pushing on this rock and we can make ourselves sad and miserable trying to change that problem, but we are not going to be able to change it. It's something that we cannot fix. Okay, I have another one. You keep getting in trouble for talking in class. Rock or Play-Doh problem? I think you guys are getting good at this. You guys are smart. Play-Doh. Play-Doh, right? You are in control of talking in class. Even if someone whispers to you or talks to you, or let's say you're at home. I mean, we're not in the classroom right now. And you've been told no TV, no phone, homework time. And you get caught not doing homework or playing on your phone or talking to your siblings instead of doing your homework, right? You are in control of that, right? You can change that behavior. So that is a Play-Doh problem. Okay. All right. I'll do one more, but I really think that you guys have the hang of this. You wish your family all lived in the same place or the same house. Rock or Play-Doh problem? You said rock, you're correct, right? Again, we don't have control of others and where they choose to move and what they choose to do. Sometimes families don't all get to live in the same house or the same town. But if we try to control that, we are pushing on a rock and it's not doing anything, right? It's not like a Play-Doh problem where we could try to solve and fix and change it, right? Okay. Very good. You guys got the hang of this, I think. What I would recommend doing is sit down. If you have some problems going on, some things that are really bothering you, making you sad, anxious, upset, you can write them down. So, rock problem and Play-Doh. So sometimes Miss Brown does this. See, I have two categories, rock problem, Play-Doh problem. And I don't call it a rock problem or a Play-Doh problem. I'm an adult and, I think of it a little bit differently, but pretty much the same thing. I sometimes do this. If I'm really struggling with something and trying to figure out, can I change this? Do I have control to make my situation better? Is there something I can do to solve this, fix this, change this problem? So, and that's something you can do at home. So if you have something going on where you're feeling lonely, you're feeling all alone, you're feeling lonely, or whatever it is, you put it in the, decide which column it goes in. And if it is a rock problem, one that you have no control over, you're just going to be pushing a rock, right? Making yourself sad and miserable about it. You have to let it go, right? Just like we did in some of the other videos, and we do in my office a lot. I have a garbage can, right? And sometimes we write down rock problems or things that we just want to get rid of, throw them away, right? Because we have to let that go. We are not in control of that. Okay? All right, guys, I will talk to you next week. I hope you're doing well. I miss you.